Hi guys, Allie here with Tiny Home Tours. I'm so excited to announce that the team at Tiny Home Tours has put together a course on tiny living. If you've been thinking about making a big change and embracing tiny life, but aren't sure how, this course is for you. It's meant to help people who know they want to downsize, but aren't sure about what that space should be. We'll walk you through a variety of options like tiny homes, buses, vans, and RVs, both new and vintage. We'll share the pros and cons of each so that you can feel comfortable and confident moving forward with your tiny living dreams. We'll offer design tips and tricks to increase your quality of life in a small space and help give ideas for how to minimize efficiently and effectively. We'll offer ideas on how to make money on the road if nomad life is what you're dreaming of, so that it becomes a sustainable venture for you. We'll discuss realistic budgets and the pros and cons of hiring a builder or doing a DIY builds. We'll offer advice on everything from dating, living on the road with pets, a deep dive into compost toilets, parking your unconventional tiny home, and living in a small space with children. If you purchase the course during pre-launch, you'll get a ton of bonuses like discounts and access to your instructors in a small group setting. Make sure to check out the website to see all of the bonuses because we don't want you to miss out on any of them. Once they're gone, they're gone. And make sure to sign up for the Tiny Home Tours newsletter to get all of the up-to-date announcements. We cannot wait to help you live out your tiny living dream.
Hey, I'm Becky.
And I'm Austin.
And this is Alan, our 2010 Freightliner Sprinter.
We've been traveling in him for the last 7 months.
Come on in and check him out. So when you first walk into the van, this is what you see. I wanted to have a place to keep my little plants and succulents that have actually been thriving while we've been in the van, as well as a mirror to get ready in the morning and where we store our backpacks and jackets and hats. We have a pass-through door here, and it actually came as part of this van when we bought it as a plumber's cargo van to protect the driver from all of their plumbing equipment in the back. And what we really like about it is that it keeps us feeling very kind of separate in the back. We feel like we're in a studio apartment instead of in a vehicle because we can't see our seats at all. And we also have really great insulation. We insulated this entire wall and the door, and we made sure that this area can stay cool or hot when the front of the cab could be burning hot or freezing cold depending on the temperature. So it just kind of opens and we can walk right through into our cab, and it's one of our favorite features. In our kitchen, we really enjoy having a super large sink. This is actually a standard kitchen sink, and what our favorite part about it is that it was only $5 at a garage sale. It's inset into our countertop here. This is a concrete look countertop from IKEA, so it's technically laminate, but we felt it really tied in with our design style. And behind here, we love having a window in the back for natural light. It helps keeps our plants alive, even though that's kind of tough in a van sometimes. And we pulled that from a step truck in a junkyard as well. That was $25, I think. So we bought this from IKEA as well, and we use it as a fruit basket. We attempted a fruit hammock in the beginning of our journey, and it turned out that it bruised and destroyed all of our fruit. So this is super solid. We can fill it up with fruits and veggies. It's undermounted to our cabinets. These are one of my favorite design features. We actually decided on our color scheme and our design around these cabinets. They were secondhand purchased from a Habitat for Humanity restore. And so they had the perfect amount to fit in our kitchen. So it was really meant to be. We have gas struts here that hold up our cabinets when we open them up. And we store all of our food up over here. On that side is more toiletries, storage. And we also use these rubber mats here to keep these IKEA bins full of food from crashing down if we're sitting at an angle when we open them up or something like that. Our backsplash here is real porcelain subway tile. We originally thought we would use peel and stick tile, but it turns out that subway tiles are only 15 cents per tile, so it was actually cheaper. We liked how it made it look luxurious, and it really filled out our design in our kitchen. Our grout here is not cement grout that you would see in a typical kitchen. We actually use silicone, which was more of an intensive process to apply, but it helps when the van's driving down the road and things are flexing. We don't have to worry about our tiles cracking or falling off of the wall. Over here, we have our magnetic knife rack. You can see that all of our items just clip right onto there. We keep our knives, our large utensils, and we don't actually have any other large utensils than this. It keeps us organized and they never fall off. People always ask us, you know, are you afraid that your knives are going to come flying at you when you're driving? And this is such a strong magnet that that's never been a concern. Our stove is a 2-burner Ramblewood gas cooktop. We have a cast iron pan on here because we do most or basically all of our cooking in the van actually. That helps us save money while we're on the road, and we also just really enjoy it as a hobby. The way that the cooktop works is it's actually connected to a 20-pound propane tank in the back, and it's piped up through and underneath the cabinet here. It has its own lighter, so you can just turn it on without having to use a match or a lighter, and it's super simple. We really enjoy how easy it makes cooking for us. This cabinet is where all of our kitchen storage is. So we have these wire baskets that we got from IKEA that slide out, and it helps us hold our pots and pans, our rice cooker, our glasses, our plates, our various storage containers. We have a toaster in there as well as a microwave underneath, which helps us reheat leftovers. We like that as a supplement to the stove. Over here, we have a baby lock on our fridge so it doesn't fly open. This is a standard 120 volt dorm style mini fridge. So it's not specifically made for a van. It's something that we already had, so we use that in the van in order to save money again. And we always make sure that we lock this because before we had a lock on it, our fridge would fly open and everything inside would fall out. Inside the fridge, our favorite part for organization is using these plastic drawers. They slide out easily, but they keep everything organized so that our food items don't shift while we're driving and then spill out as soon as we open the door. That has been crucial for keeping the fridge clean and organized and making sure that we know where everything is.
So we're both from New Jersey originally, and we were together for about 4.5 years before we decided that we wanted to try out van life.
Our original plan for 2020 was to build a tiny house with money that we had saved specifically for that purpose. When the pandemic hit, though, we decided that we wanted to still be able to travel, and so we built out a van instead so that we could do domestic travel later that year.
And the key motivating factor for this build is we wanted to stay on budget and on time as much as possible. So everything that we did in this build was motivated by that. We bought things secondhand, we reused and recycled as much as we could. And we were able to get this build completely done for under $8,000.
So $8,000 is the cost of the build materials and everything that we put inside the van. We purchased the van itself for about $17,000, and so we were really happy with the budget that we were able to keep, and that helped us be able to use the money that we had saved to build the van and also afford to travel for a year.
So we're both kind of data nerds, so we actually have spreadsheets upon spreadsheets of every little detail of the van construction, man hours worked, dollars spent down to the penny, and also living on the road, how much money we've spent on gas, how many miles we drive a day, things like that. Yeah.
We really like statistics, and I was a project manager in my former career, and so seeing the van build as a project and being able to manage that, to keep it on time and on budget and make sure that we're using our resources, which is, you know, time and money, as efficiently as possible, was really a fun challenge for us. And that's how we approached this van build. That's how we were able to basically bang it out in 4 months of us both working on it full time, to get the build done and get out on the road. Our upper cabinet is mostly used as a pantry. So you can see, again, we have a baby lock on this. There's a lot of heavy items in here, like cans. And so those tend to shift while we're driving, especially if we make a hard turn. And we found that we were having a lot of issues with things falling out. So there was an additional baby lock that we needed on this cabinet. We can actually store about 45 cans in this bottom shelf area. So we are fully stocked at all times with beans and veggies and different foods. And we keep all of our pantry items like spices, pastas, dry foods in here as well. Right below our pantry, we actually have the only drawer in our entire build. turns out drawers are kind of hard to build, so we're happy that we limited it just to this one. This is where we keep our utensils, our storage containers, and things that are a little bit random kitchen items we didn't want sliding down below the counter over there. We like how tight it is because it's actually slightly too big for the drawer box that we built for it, and so it doesn't have any issues with sliding out. That was a bit of a happy accident, not a design feature, but we're really happy with how the drawer turned out. In this bottom cabinet, again, it's baby locked closed so things don't fly out. We have more dry food storage, granola bars, cereal, our bread, as well as our paper goods such as toilet paper and paper towels down here. Inside this cabinet is also our control center for our electrical system. So behind a plastic shield, we have our inverter switch as well as our ammeter where we can get information about our solar system. Our table is actually hidden away underneath our bed. So again, this is baby locked and it slides out and is supported with a drawer slide over here that's next to the fridge. That way it can be super compact, but also pretty rigid. And there's enough space for 2 people to sit side by side to eat. Underneath our bed, we have a pass-through to our garage. This is the half that we access from the interior of the van to get to our toilet, which is a Dometic 5-gallon portable toilet, and also our heater. So we have a portable Mr. Buddy heater that works off of the same line that provides gas to our propane cooktop, as well as our laundry storage. That's where we reach under to throw those dirty clothes into the hamper. Our couch is actually super comfortable. So we built it out of upholstery foam that we ordered on Amazon. It has a 5-inch base and a 3-inch back. We also ordered the cushion covers from Amazon and we modified them to be a little bit tighter and to fit better for the specific size of our couch. I cut the upholstery foam just using a bread knife to fit onto the custom size of our storage bench below. Under here, we store a lot of random items. We have some extra linens as well as a bug screen for our sliding door. Behind our couch cushions is where we store our reflectors for our windows. We custom made these reflectors out of Reflectix and black fabric, and we have one that fits in each window so that we can keep out hot, or we can flip them around and we can keep in the heat that we're adding when it's cold outside. This is our map of the United States. It's actually a scratch-off map so that we can track our progress from New Jersey to where we are now. And you can scratch off the different states. We're using that to keep track of where we've slept overnight in different states, as well as which national parks we visited, since that is one of our major goals for this trip. Our bed is a 5-inch mattress, which we bought in order to save space so that we could comfortably sit up on top of the bed, but it actually turned out to be super uncomfortable. So we put a 3-inch mattress topper on it, making it 8 inches total, and now you can see my head is up against the ceiling. We didn't plan ahead too great on that one. Next to the bed, we have our clothing storage in these 2 upper cabinets. This is mine, this is Austin's, and we use these packing cubes in order to keep everything organized and again, avoid an issue with opening the cabinet and having everything spill out. It keeps it nice and tight, nice and organized. On either side of the bed, we have small windows that open up and they have screens in them to keep the bugs out. We use those to get airflow when we're sleeping. We have a fan in the front and that pulls the air through over us while we're in the bed and makes it much more comfortable if it's a little bit hot out. We also use this little fan, which is totally adjustable. It's just a USB fan and that helps us stay comfortable temperature as well. Over here, we have a carbon monoxide alarm. We also have a propane alarm down below our couch, as well as a combination carbon monoxide and smoke detector above our kitchen. We wanted to make sure that we had all the safety features that you would want in a bedroom at home to make sure that we weren't, running into any issues, especially having propane inside of our living space. It was really important to us to monitor for carbon monoxide and propane. This is also where we keep our bear spray, and one of our favorite features is the weather station, which will tell us the outside temperature, the inside temperature, a weather forecast, the time, any information that you might need to know without leaving your bed, you can find on the weather station.
So because of my previous work as a construction engineer, I'm actually really fluent in 3D modeling software such as CAD and SketchUp. So we didn't just dive into building the van, we had a 3D model that we tweaked for months before actually going ahead with the project, and I think that made such a huge difference with efficiency of construction, wastefulness of materials. We had everything nailed down and we knew where everything was going to go before we even lifted a hammer.
Yeah, and that was really important for us to be able to make the build process easy, but also to be able to avoid mistakes that other people had made. I would say we tracked how much time we worked on the build, and it was over 1,000 hours. But after that, we realized that we hadn't even tracked the time that we spent planning the build, and the build was a small portion of the amount of time that it took to make this van become a reality because of how much time we did research and design and planning. It all really, I would say we probably spent 3 times as much time planning it as we did building it, and that really saved us time in the building stage. I mean, the building stage was a much more intensive, difficult, exhausting kind of time for us, whereas the research was fun and energetic and exciting because we were finally seeing the possibilities of living in a van and of building it. So just, you know, if you're planning on building a van, keep in mind that you're going to have to invest time in both the research, design, planning, and build stages. And it's nice to have those different stages. It mixes it up and it keeps you excited about something that is really a large undertaking to build your own van.
We tried to keep everything in our van as simple as possible to keep the cost down and keep the construction easy. So our water system consists of 4 aquatainers, 3 for fresh water and 1 for gray water. And they're modular, so we can take them out of the van and fill them up somewhere that we might not necessarily be able to drive the van. We have a line running from the freshwater tank to a pump through a filter and then out the sink at the top. We ended up going with a foot pump rather than an electric pump because it helps us save water, and it's a simple system. There's no wiring. Everything's modular right there. If something breaks, we just replace it. So for our lighting system, we ended up going with a surface mount, small, low profile puck lighting. It was easy just to screw it right into the shiplap on the ceiling boards and wire all the lighting under those boards so it's not visible. The lights are all controlled by remote control, which is nice that we can activate them or deactivate them from wherever we are in the van. And we also included a 32-foot strip of color changing LED lights hidden on this trim piece over here and then on top of the cabinets here. So here is our garage space. Plenty of room for all of our toys, and we decided to put the height of the bed platform high enough that we could fit a bike underneath. So this is our shower setup. We have 1 7-gallon aquatainer, and it has a small pump that goes in the aquatainer controlled by this remote, and it's good for about 4 cold showers. So this is our custom-built sealed and vented propane locker. We didn't want to have a tank mounted to the outside of the van to help with the stealth factor. But putting it inside the van and not ventilating it is dangerous. So I built this box out of 3/4 inch plywood, put some latches and a weather seal on it, and there's a standard grill tank in there, and there's also a 1-inch hole drilled out the bottom of it and then walled with PVC pipe to allow free flow of gases if that regulator on that tank fails, and off gases. So we went with mostly Renogy equipment. So we have a 2,000 watt inverter here, which is enough to run just about any household appliance. We also have a Renogy Wanderer solar charge controller for our 4 100 watt solar panels, total of 400 watts. We have a Samlex battery charger that is acts in place of our shore power. So we just plug this extension cord in to fully top off our batteries in about 12 hours. And over here is our DC-DC charger, which has wires running to the main battery of the van, and it acts like a one-way valve. So if the batteries back here deplete, it won't deplete the battery of the van and we'll still be able to start it. So the bed platform itself is constructed mainly out of 2x4s. Almost all of them were reclaimed from previous construction projects. So we have them spaced roughly 18 inches, close enough that it's not going to be any noticeable flex from the bed when you're on the bed. And that's spanning this length, and then we have 2x4s vertical bolted into the side of the van to transfer that load to the steel structure of the van. So I was working a full-time 9-to-5 engineering job, and on the way home one day, I was in a motorcycle accident. It shattered my leg. I have hardware in there, and that very nearly could have been the end of my life. And I thought that I can't waste all that time working for someone else. So that's why we changed the way that we live, and that's why we're motivated to do this kind of lifestyle.
Yeah. I had a similar experience as well. Actually, when I was 23 years old, I suddenly wasn't able to walk or lift my head up anymore, just on a random day, and went to the hospital, and the doctors could not tell me what was wrong with me. And so I was hospitalized for 2 weeks. It turned out that I had a spontaneous cerebrospinal fluid leak, which is very rare. It's something that's unusual if you don't have a trauma to your spine. And luckily we were able to resolve that issue. I was able to, you know, get out of the hospital, but it was a scary time in thinking that could possibly be, you know, the end of it for me. I would not ever be able to walk again or stand up or lift my head up. And so that was a catalyst for us definitely to move towards things that we were actually passionate about, instead of living life in order to just make money and get things. And, you know, we always had this idea of wanting to live an alternative lifestyle. We never wanted to live a super traditional lifestyle as it was. I've been interested in tiny houses since I was a teenager. I have one designed. I've had it for years. We've just been refining it throughout the years. And so we've always had this plan that we want to live differently, but that was a real kick in the butt to make us make a change and make sure that we're working in jobs that we're passionate about, and not just living by default, but living by design. Thanks for checking out our van. If you want to follow our journey, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. We are at Lifepothesis, and we'll see you on the road.